Welcome to Thurston County Board of County Commissioners Board Work Session, Thursday, February 4th, 2021. My name is Ty Menser, Chair of the County Board of County Commissioners. Vice Chair Commissioner Gary Edwards is right outside the door. Will be joining us imminently. Commissioner Carolina Mejia is here, as well as County Manager Ramiro Chavez and Assistant County Manager Robin Campbell. And then we have an illustrious group from our Community Planning and Economic Development Department who will be presenting today. The topic is the department overview. And we are scheduled until 12:15 or thereabouts. Public can attend on our county YouTube channel or by calling 360-252-9020, pin 1234. And Ramiro, I will let you introduce today's briefing, and I know Josh is here to take it from there.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. This is an effort that you will hear from offices and departments just to give you a perspective, an overview. Particular, hopefully it's helpful to Commissioner Mejia, and also give you the opportunity to hear some of the successes each office and department has accomplished in the last year, and perhaps some of the common challenges or opportunities that lies before 2021. So, Josh, do you want to take in?
Certainly, thank you. All right, let me try this screen sharing thing. I had it, but I want to make sure I do it right this time. Okay. Is that working?
Yeah, put it in the slide mode. We're okay. Perfect.
Okay. Okay. So, recognizing the board has had a full morning already, wanted to just provide this brief update as the county manager relayed on community planning and economic development. This is really an opportunity for us to say thank you to the Board of County Commissioners for your input and guidance and direction on the items that you'd like for us to be working on. It's also an opportunity for me to say thank you to the entire CPED team for the great work that they do in implementing the direction of the Board of County Commissioners. And then finally, an opportunity, as you hear an overview of CPED, to consider some thoughts that you would like for us to be thinking on the direction of this year. So it's a look back on the successes of 2020, and then a look forward on to what the board would like for us to be thinking about, and then hearing some of the upcoming briefings that you'll be receiving from other staff members of CPED. So no decisions from this briefing. This is all just overview. So hopefully that's helpful for you today. Okay, so going to the next slide. As many of you are aware, the values and mission of CPED: transparency, consistency, and accountability. We say with transparency, if you can't have your actions appear in the Olympian or another newspaper for your mom or grandma to read, you probably shouldn't do it. Don't do it. Consistency is the codes and regulations that we have in place. They need to apply the same to every applicant, every citizen that they would, non-dependent upon who they are. So do the same thing over and over again. And accountability. Turns out that we're humans and we do make mistakes. And if you do make a mistake, own it, be accountable for it, and then repeat. Go back to transparency and don't do it again if possible. And our mission is service to citizens. And we serve citizens in those 4 bullet points: respecting the democratic institution, which that portion of our democracy is you, the Board of County Commissioners, as the elected officials, set the direction on what we shall be working on and how we implement those items. And working to ensure positive and productive engagement. That's customer service. A lot of what we do is facilitating difficult conversations for our community. Not everybody agrees on the same thing all the time, which is nice. Diversity of opinion is part of a social system. We, as CPED, help facilitate those conversations and then also implement the decisions that come from that. And those can sometimes be frustrating and difficult conversations to have, but our role is to do it in a way that's respectful and positive with the citizens. And then we are engaged in protecting and respecting the natural environment and doing all these things by respecting the public dollars. So finding ways to do things better and efficiently. In regards to the strategic plan, our main initiatives that we work to focus on are initiative number 6, which is proactively shape a strong and diverse economy, and number 7, balanced development with the preservation of the county's rural character and open spaces and natural areas. So when you're thinking about the work of CPED, that's kind of the high level portion of it. The divisions of CPED, first is the development services. They're the land use permitting arm. So those are the folks that are implementing the codes and regulations. When people come in for a permit to do something with their land or build a building, this group is the folks that are talked to. In terms of the building development center, that's the first point of contact, then the planners, then the permitters, and the building inspectors. And if something goes awry, we are a complaint-driven organization. So if a neighbor has concerns about what their neighbor might be engaged in, we also have the compliance division, which goes out and ensures that whatever's happening on land use and building fits within our compliance. If it does not, we assist them to come into compliance where possible. Second division is the community planning. This is that group that facilitates the long-term vision of the community of itself for Thurston County. As many of you heard, TRPC has projected that we'll have another 100,000 more citizens in Thurston County by 2040. Where are they going to live? What is our zoning going to look like? What's our focus for the future? That is community planning. We are partnered with WSU Extension and the agricultural program. WSU Extension is a separate entity, but we work with them on a yearly basis for an MOA, and then they have funding partnerships with the county general fund, but then also with different grants and portions of the county and external grants as well. And you'll see more on that in the coming weeks as we prepare the budgets and make sure that that MOA is signed. That happens every year. And then we have the Fairgrounds and Event Center. They, as it says, provide community gatherings and the big fair event, which on a regular basis in normal times or maybe post-normal times, hopefully we'll again have around 25,000 attendees at the Thurston County Fair. As you're aware, this last year in 2020, we had to cancel the fair, but you should be aware that the fair board is pushing forward as if we're going to have the opportunity to have a fair this year. And the dates for this year's fair are July 28th through August 1st. And the theme this year is Cheers for 150 years. The Thurston County Fair started in the year 1871. So this will be 150 years since the fair started in Thurston County. We'll keep you posted on that as things come available. Part of that fair event is also the pancake breakfast, which we'll have to consider how that goes forward in the future as well. And then last is our operations and fiscal division. Those two divisions of CPED make sure that we can do all the great stuff within those other 4 divisions above. So really appreciate the work that they do. And then next, just so you have a visual, if you're ever interested, this picture, this org chart is outside of my office. If you ever want to know who's on the team, come take a look. I've also can provide that to you if you'd like individually. It's actually even much more handy now that we're not even in the halls together. So seeing those humans is really helpful to understand that this is work being done by good people and local citizens. So come take a look if you like. Real quick on the successes, I think countywide, we had an amazing response and kept all of our services going. And CPED was no different during the COVID emergency of the last year. We were able to continue all of our operations. Some of them were squeezed as we learned how to operate in a new world. But huge thanks to Jeremy Davis and Linda O'Neill on the purchasing of computers and phones and equipment and shifting so quickly to this new world. And amidst all of that turmoil, we were able to submit the 4th draft of the Habitat Conservation Plan in July of 2020. It was accepted by U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in October of 2020. And given the EIS process, the Environmental Impact Statement process, the U.S. government has 1 year to complete their review and then provide us comments on that HCP. So we're looking forward to the next huge positive hurdle on that approval from the U.S. government coming in October of this year, 2021. So that's huge. And then review and implementation of more clear and efficient processes. The big one on this is the project review timeline. there had been this conversation in the community over the past years that our group had engaged in what some had deemed bring me another rock. So an applicant would come in with an idea, our team would say yes, but, and I need this, and there was some confusion in the process. Brett Burris and his team did an amazing job of creating clarity and efficiency in the project review timeline that said up front, here's the items that we're going to need, here's the timeline that we're going to have on the first review, and then the middle ground is up to the applicant. Here's the time that you have, and that's up to you in the expanse of however long it takes for you to bring us all of the items we need to approve. That's on your yourself and your consultants. And then the third portion is that final review. So no longer is it as much a back and forth in this pilot project. Instead, it's a steady, consistent, and efficient process. And that we saw the pilot was a huge success in the Johnson Smokehouse application, which came in and was completed with 2 different processes on their applications in about 4 to 6 months. Is that correct, Brett? Great. And then we facilitated new opportunities for public engagement. So with all the crazy stuff that happened with COVID, our team was first out of the gate in ensuring that we were meeting the OPMA guidelines and providing those big opportunities, especially at the Planning Commission, so that the work that the Planning Commission does could continue to be provided to the Board of County Commissioners. Big thanks to Jeremy Davis and Jennifer Davis, no relation, on doing that project. One of the successes that came out of that was in past times when people came in person to the Planning Commission, we'd have, maybe 2, 5 people show up depending upon the issue. Now we're having around 20 participants, if not more. So it's easier to access, and so people are showing up and participating in their government more. So that's a big piece of the success. And then implementing the hiring practices to reduce potential bias. At the beginning of this year, around Q2, I asked Jeremy Davis to engage with HR in figuring out ways to reduce potential bias in our hiring practices and improve our equity awareness. And one of the things that we came up with is we work to not have identifying characteristics like names, addresses, things that could present in the review of applicants, any personal information that could bias our perspective on who we're sending through to the next rounds of interviews. As it gets up the stages, then we start to bring that information back in. But out of those first couple of cuts, we want to make sure that we're getting as big a pool as possible and honoring the diversity of our community. So those are the big successes. And as we all know, successes lead to more opportunity, especially in the work that we do here at the county. And the first big opportunity is ensuring that we adequately understand what's happening with the building industry. There was perspective at the beginning of 2020 that we were going to see some dips and dives in the economy. The building industry did not experience that on a long-term basis. When we shut down in April, there was a huge decline, but that has since risen back up, and we've seen an actual net gain in the applications that were provided to the BDC, the Building Development Center. And in terms of interactions, our previous counts on interactions with customers, not just applications, but people coming in and asking questions, they were around 16,000 in 2019. In 2020, even though we had limited in-person access, we had built other items for other ways for people to engage with our staff. So 16,000 in 2019. In 2020, we saw estimated 20,800 interactions of citizens with our permit planning staff in Brett's group. That's monumental. So just wanted to highlight that is going to be an ongoing opportunity. This restricted communication opportunities, but also making sure that we understand what's happening in the building world. Planning for that is directly related to the revenue of our organization. The Board of County Commissioners, a few commissions back, voted to make the group 100% cost recovery. So all of the revenue that comes for the permanent planning comes through the fees that people pay on applications. So making sure that we monitor that is going to be really important. And that leads into the next item, permit and planning. As you heard on the success of the Johnson Smokehouse project review timeline, the goal for Brett's group is to implement that PRT division-wide by the end of this year so that all applications, big and small, are following the guidelines of the project review timeline to ensure consistency and efficiency for our organization. The next thing, the commissioners have funded a fee study to see how the process of planning that we engage with applications to ensure that that meets the current standards for fees, and then a database upgrade. The commissioners have also approved $1.5 million to improve our what's called the Amanda or A6 system, which is outdated and clunky and at its end of life. So we're partnering with IT and Public Works and Public Health to engage in that process this year as well. And then one of the last big opportunities is ensuring completion of the HCP. So we're not waiting for that October 2021 input from the U.S. government. We're building right now the tributaries that will lead to success when we receive the green light from the U.S. government. That means the permitting process. So we've got the idea from Jennifer Davis's group on the HCP, but we need to know how to implement it, and that's Brett's group. We're working on that right now. Land acquisition. So that is directly related to making sure that we've got the land that can go into the HCP. And then partnering with other organizations like Sentinel Lands, with JBLM, ensuring that we've got this whole big universe of land available as we go into the next steps. ITP stands for the Incidental Take Permit. So that's the hopeful outcome. At the end of the HCP, Habitat Conservation Plan, approval, we get an ITP from the U.S. government, which then allows us to provide permits to the citizens of Thurston County. Upcoming briefings, we've got the annual Gopher review. So this is the interim process that we put in place. Since we don't have an HCP, we still wanted to keep serving customers. And so we had to do these on-site visits. And every year we come back to the board and say, here's the number of visits we did, here's the successes, here are some opportunities, and we want to engage if there's things that we can do better. The hopeful future is that we won't be doing these on-site reviews once we get the ITP. But for this year, we have this briefing coming up again, and that's going to be Brett. And then we have the upcoming briefing on the official dockets. We've got a mid-year cycle review to ensure that what we're working on in the community planning group is what the Board of County Commissioners continues to want us working on, and an update on the schedule on those items. And then the HCP on those items that I just discussed will be providing more detail as it's available. That was a lot. That was fast. We've got a little bit of time for questions and wanted to provide that opportunity.
Commissioner Mejia, start with you. Any questions for Josh or the speaker?
I do not have questions. Thank you.
I do.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
What's going on with Brent? I know he's been drug away. How long is that going to be? Because he's instrumental in your operation over there.
That is a question that I can't answer at this time, but we do rely on our leaders to work hard and do good. But what I know, Brad is helping where he can at this time.
So I need to ask the county manager that at some future date, I take it, right?
And that's a conversation we can also have offline.
Yeah, we can have offline,
Okay.
Commissioner.
Okay, good enough. Oh, thank you. You guys are making headway, no doubt about that. Thank you very much.
And I'd also just real quickly say, there was so many other successes that I wanted to talk about, but you've got them attached right here. WSU has done an amazing job ensuring that people that need food have received food boxes. This program, the fair, was able to maintain revenue. So many other things. Please do take a look at this if you get a chance. Any other questions, commissioners?
I don't have any questions on that. I think a comment that I made to you, Josh, in our one-on-one that I'll just repeat for your team is this, that, you know, you guys did a bunch of work on the comprehensive plan, and I appreciated all of that work. I just wanted to say that. I didn't end up voting for the complete package because of certain elements, but it was not any dissatisfaction with the work done by the team, the presentation of information, the work with the Planning Commission. And, In fact, the key issue that really kind of tipped the balance for me was an issue where the CPED staff had recommended that the issue be resolved my way. So I just wanted the team to hear that they should not misinterpret my my vote in that particular instance for any sort of dissatisfaction or lack of support for the work that was done. That, Maya, for example, took some very complex issues and put them in a form that I think the Planning Commission could digest, that the commissioners could digest and make decisions on, and that's just democratic process. But I think the whole thing was well done from your department's perspective. So hopefully that was clear. Okay, and then you said what's next? Is that what you wanted to present, or did you say you wanted input from the commission on future direction, or what's next?
So first off, thank you. The comprehensive plan was another huge success, and it's broken out on this page as well. And facilitating that conversation is important, and respecting the democratic process. Jennifer Davis and her team, Maya and others, did an amazing job on that. I really appreciate your appreciation. In terms of next steps, the next steps are just, have your mind ready to go on all the next great things that we've got going. And if there is any questions, CPED is here to serve. The team of managers that you've got here, Brett Burris, the Development Services Manager, Jennifer Davis, the Community Planning Manager, Jeremy Davis, the Operations Manager, and Linda O'Neill, the Fiscal Manager, and myself are your team. We serve you and the citizens of Thurston County. Tell us where you want us.
Okay, anything from Ramiro, Robin, anything from you guys?
No, just echoing some of the commissioner's comments. There's a lot of work the CPID completed over the last year. Very complicated issues, very challenging ways to engage the public, making sure that that process is in place, coordination with the Planning Commission, all that in the hearing examiners. All that really is a very complex business, what Josh and his staff are entrusted to do. So thank you for your great accomplishments in 2020. Looking forward to 2021.
Thank you, Community Manager. Great team.
Thanks for the weighing in also on different legislative items. That's really overwhelming for the commissioners to get hit with so many different bills, and they're complex, and our subject matter experts, need to help us sift through that. So I appreciate that input you guys gave, whoever did that. Sure.
Jennifer Davis.
All right, thanks, Jennifer.
And Jeremy.
Okay, well, is that it, Ramiro?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. We're adjourned for today. Thanks, CPED.
Thank you.
Thank you.